A very good day to you. Welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube. My name is Jadil Kabira. So happy that you're once again with us for political conversations with Herman Manyora. Sir, how are you today?
I'm good.
Listen to your conversation with Okinye and I was laughing out. You're saying people are leaking men in power or politicians. Yeah. But I thought you said this before. You said that whoever wins this election will vanquish the other. Why are you pissed with other men going to the
I'm just
other side?
stating, I said, this is what will happen. It doesn't mean it has to happen. And if it has to happen, why would you allow yourself to be the one allowing it to happen?
What's your take though?
Even when people go to war and they lose the war, there will always be heroes on either side.
We're looking at so far in politics. Let's take a look at this members of parliament from Luya Nation. Yes. There's so many, from Titus Hamala to Bernard Shinali, Mumias sister MP, Washiali, Navoko legislator, Emmanuel Wangwe. What does this mean if they're all going? Because I think it's Kamala who came out and said he's still in ODM, just went to meet the president. Does this mean that the Luya Nation is likely to be controlled by Ruto before the year of 2027?
You know, there are two ways of looking at it, and I think the best way is to ask yourself, does it mean when these people have gone, the Luya have gone? The answer may be no.
Okay.
Actually, many of the people who defected could not win elections back in 1992. So if you cheapen yourself through defection, you may not see light of parliament again.
Okay.
That's one way of looking at it. Another way of saying, yes, it's possible that when the leadership is gone, the people cannot follow their leaders, their MPs. And then the question arises, do they constitute the leadership? When you have Shamala, Sinali, and this other guy, former MP for Mumias, Were, and there's another one, I don't know who. Do you really have Luya leadership? Can that be said to be Luya leadership? I think in my honest opinion, these are very good people, but they are not leaders of the Luya.
Okay.
So either way, depending on how you look at it, the damage may be minimal.
Are people
because if Wetangula, who are much more serious people, Wetangula and Mudavadi, with all these junior fellows behind them, could not give Ruto more than 35% of Western, how can the Reverend, he's a very good man, Bishop Shama Kamala, very nice man, I like the way he talks. And then Wangwe, my friend, Sinali, are good friends. They are very good people, but they are not leaders. They are MPs at that level. But even themselves must be fighting for their seats. Who knows whether they can win in the next election?
Are we looking at a scenario where people are already looking at 2027, or is this just, when you look at them with Ruto, is this just for the government of now, trying to get benefits, as you put it in one of our videos, that everyone is just scrambling for power and money?
You know, politicians are opportunists. They're just like prostitutes. They go for money and for cheap opportunities. Everybody knows that. But when you demonstrate that, when you show people clearly you are such an opportunist, there are consequences. I would hesitate to advise a friend to go kneeling State House. I will hesitate. I'll be very hesitant. I would advise for constructive engagement that leaves you with the dignity of a leader. You know, you can work with the government of the day in a very constructive way, where you don't taint your name. You don't look like a cheap opportunist. You just look at like a leader working with the government of the day, supporting government of the day, while remaining a member of your party. So that I saw my governor going to Mudavadi Center to see Mudavadi with his deputy. They are my friends, very good, very close friends of mine. There's nothing wrong with them because Mudavadi comes from Viga and now he's a big man in the country. But I just tried to find out, had they even just mentioned Raila, who is their leader? I found they had not, unless somebody was not, most likely they had not. That's not how to go. Just tell Raila, today we are planning to go and meet Mudavadi. He can't tell you no, but it shows the kind of person you are.
Then what do you mean?
It shows even after meeting that man, you remain yourself. But if after considered opinion, after serious consideration, you've come to the conclusion you want to leave your party to go to join the ruling party, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that, except it must be played in such a manner that is devoid of opportunism and cheapness. Yeah.
When you say that, makes me think of Martha Karua, speaking about so far in politics. And Martha Karua is yet to recognize Ruto as the president. In BBC, she said she does not recognize President Ruto as the president of this country. What does this make of this? You say work with the government because it's the government, and Martha Karua says, I don't know, I don't believe Ruto is the president.
You know, Martha Karua has made herself very clear. The election of this country is a legal, constitutional process. It has, at the end of that process, produced William Samoei Ruto as the president. That includes even a petition to the Supreme Court. It's part of the process. So when you have exhausted that legal process, the constitutional process, at the end of it, we have our president. And she says she appreciates that and recognizes that. But in her mind, she's clear Ruto did not win. And you cannot fault her for thinking that way.
Okay.
I think she's made herself very clear.
So on that...
She's a trained legal mind.
So there's no issue with someone.
And there are many people in this country.
Because, you know...
There are many people in this country who believe Ruto did not win. Except they don't have this, the status, there's a word I'm looking for. They don't have the clouds Martha Karua has. There are many people who are saying it every day in the streets.
Okay.
But it's coming from Martha Karua who has some status and clouds. That's why you are finding it odd. It's not odd. Many people, millions of people.
What's your take? Because you're one of the few people who...
And it's just not in Kenya. Even in America, when Trump lost, there were tens of millions of Americans who believed Trump won and that Biden did not win. That's normal in an election. Even in football. You lose, you say the referee was biased. But the cup has gone with other people. They are dancing in the streets.
You're one of the few people who went ahead and congratulated Ruto, said you're willing and ready to serve,
of course,
to serve his government. Should it get to a point where Martha Karua thinks of this same, because she's going to take over the leadership, and we're going to talk about Azimio. She's one of the people being fronted to take over the leadership after Raila. Should it get to a point where Martha Karua rallies behind this government for the benefit of the people? Do you think it's a good idea?
Again, that's her right. What I would say is this, and that's why Raila has not spoken like that. It is very serious when after an election, someone like Raila says he does not recognize Ruto. Have you heard Raila say it?
No.
Because the implications are serious. Serious. He'll think hard before he says that. It's not a simple matter. That's where we were in 2017. And you saw how many people died because of that. So, I would only advise people like Martha Karua to leave that to small people like us. Yeah, because it is dangerous. But now it's even more serious because she has gone to the East African Court of Appeal. I hear so, to take the case.
She wanted to. I don't know if
she wants to. I think she has gone, something like that. So, yeah. But if she wants to work with the government, that would be a good idea. I am a small person. I had my position perhaps known to me or it was public. Ruto is the president. I have no power to change it. And as a good citizen, I must be loyal to my president and to my country. I must support him in whichever way. But I will be patriotic enough to criticize the government when I see they are going wrong or they are being slow, to try and push them, to make them accelerate, to make them handle the problems of the country better as a patriotic citizen. Yeah.
Is that the position where Raila is, and do you think this is the right position for the opposition?
It's very difficult for Raila. He cannot do the way I'm doing.
How so?
Whereas it is important for every Kenyan, including Raila Odinga, that the government succeeds for the interest of the country and the people of this country. A man like Raila, Kalonzo, Martha Karua should be people who are prepared to take government tomorrow, not 2027.
So it's different from you. Yours
Yeah.
is to serve him.
Mine, yeah. His is to try to get government out of power because you're not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
That you are not running the country well. Can you get the hell out of State House? We want to run this country. And not to wait for 2027.
Is that how opposition ought to act?
Yes, yes, ideally. Ideally, the opposition
Yeah.
must be people who are prepared to govern tomorrow. Not in the next election, like we have been doing in this country. The opposition must be prepared to take over from Ruto tomorrow. That is how ideally an opposition works. And that's why you see in democracies like in the UK, there are always attempts at removing the prime minister through a vote of no confidence. Okay? That's how it should be.
Talk to me about the opposition as it is. As a mayor, there are talks all around, different politicians speaking about who is supposed to be in charge of the opposition. There are calls for Raila to denounce his place and give power to Kalonzo to take over the mantle. There are also talks to have Martha Karua there in charge of the opposition. Who's suitable now? Because Raila, obviously, his time is coming to an end if he doesn't run after in 2027.
One, how sure are we Raila is retiring? Are you sure?
I'm saying after 2027.
Has he said it?
After
No.
2027.
Has Raila said it?
Isn't it logical?
No, has he said
no,
it?
he hasn't.
If Raila were to run in 2027, will he be the oldest politician to hold office or to run?
No.
No. So not on the basis of age. You can't just look at Raila and say 2027 he will not run.
I've said after 2027. I guess
Yeah.
it's time for them to consider it. Don't you think it's time
That is
for the
number one.
consideration?
Number two,
Yeah.
power concedes nothing. Power is never given. And that's where Mudavadi gets it wrong. Throughout his career, I get the impression he has always played his politics as if somebody will make him president. Moi was to make him president. Mudavadi waited, he was not made president. During Kibaki, when Kibaki was leaving, there's a lot of talk about Mudavadi. When things changed, even Uhuru and Ruto went, we want to make you president. Then Madimon happened.
Yeah. I remember my demony.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And in the last election, he was so sure Uhuru was going to support him and Raila. That's why he was so annoyed. And he went to Ruto in that anger. And as if he has not learned enough, Mudavadi, there is talk that he feels Ruto has a softer spot for him than Gachagua.
Yeah.
That therefore Ruto is going to support him. That way of looking at power rarely works. It has worked in a number of places, but not many enough.
Yeah.
The numbers are not significant. So power is not something somebody gives you. Power is something you go for. So if there are people in ODM who want to take over from Raila, it will be a good idea for Raila to retire and say as much. It will be a much better idea for Raila to say, Kalonzo has been my running mate for long. Let's support him. Mother Karua, please. You are younger than Kalonzo. You came recently. Please fall behind Kalonzo. It will be a good idea. But that's not how power works. Because even if Raila anointed you, and you don't have what it takes, you will also go nowhere.
Vanquished later.
Yeah. So, in fact, ideally, Kalonzo and the rest of people want to inherit Raila. Should they play their politics in such a way Raila becomes irrelevant?
Okay.
Yeah. It's like in the animal kingdom. When you are walking by the road or driving, you see a swara, a gazelle or antelope with huge, horns. Alone is a male. Or a very old lion. Alone is a male. And he has been chased away by a younger male. Where mzeenda. When you see an antelope, huge horns, walking alone, it is a male and he has been chased away with stronger male, younger ones. That's how power works.
Is that your advice for Kalonzo?
So if
Martha?
anybody thinks Raila will just anoint them, then they are also not. They are being like Mudavadi. You don't wait to be given. You show signs that this belongs to you. It's like I was talking to you about interviews. I think in some interview, I was doing an interview here, and I was saying, you people, you are young people, when you attend an interview, there is no better way of succeeding in an interview than showing the panel that job belongs to you. Tell them you'll be surprised if they don't give you.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's your work. When you appear for an interview, your work is to tell the interview, you'll be very surprised. In fact, you are doing them a favor to avail yourself for the job. They need you, the company needs you.
Yeah.
In fact, they should quickly end the interview. If there are people outside who are end.
Because you're there.
Because you are there, this is your job.
So is that the right
Power
route
works like that.
For Kalonzo, try to make Raila irrelevant? And how do you make someone like Raila? The comments, some call him enigma. You've said he's a magnet. How do you make Raila irrelevant?
That's where the problem is. You try your best. You come up with your style. Who knew Ruto could overstage everybody in this country? He did it, hasn't he? Is he not president? So it's possible. It can work. How did Ruto manage to upstage Moi in Rift Valley and extend that to the entire country and handle people like Raila and Uhuru and become president? It's possible. Yeah.
Who in Azimio has that attribute to outstage
I don't
Raila?
want to say that because some people may be disappointed.
Well, disappoint some people.
Or
Just go ahead, disappoint them.
No, I don't want to disappoint people. Maybe I'll take over.
2027.
Even now, I have what it takes to take over from Raila.
You don't have the money though, so.
Money is nothing.
You don't have the money.
Money is nothing. We'll get the money.
Let's end the conversation there, because
money will get.
when you get the money,
when Obama went, he didn't have money.
You come with talk.
But people raised money for him. Obama, is not 200 years ago. It's not even 100 years ago. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes. What is important is an idea. When you have the idea, people can buy into that idea and propel you into leadership and become the president of Kenya.
Let's wait for Herman Manyora, President 2027. I'll be somewhere there in the ministry docket, probably Mudavade's job. Until we do talk again, have yourself a lovely rest of your day.
Tribal balance.
Tribal balance.
Yes.